Good evening. This is the market update for buy sell short for Tuesday, May 8th. European crap continued to spill over on the market again today. Excuse this time continue to be Greece. You've got the leftist Greek government unable to form a government so far. So that was pretty much the excuse for the take us nicely lower today at the lows. A couple hours before the close, we were down almost 200 points, and then we saw a pretty decent sized rally that continued all the way into the close. As I mentioned in the chat room, not too happy about that rally. It still leaves things very up in the air. I would have preferred us to close down where we were before that rally around minus 140 would have set us up nicely, I think, for a possible gap down tomorrow and then recovery and run. As it stands now, looking at the 15-minute chart, you can see we had that very nice breakdown from a rare head and shoulders formation in the 15-minute chart, and it ended up giving us, 400 plus points to the downside. We did bounce back up to that resistance level, but really I would call an end to this market retrace only if we were able to break the 1350 level. Now, one thing I did mention today a couple of times is what I expect to happen in the near future, probably within the next day or two. What has been driving us lower is this Greek nonsense. Any sort of positive news that comes out of Greece, i.e., they're able to form a government, doesn't matter who they form the government with. If any sort of positive news comes out, you'll be looking at them gapping this market up big. I wouldn't be surprised to see 150, 200 point gap on news like that. Someone mentioned in the chat room today, hey, why aren't we shorting the market? And this late day rally we saw in stocks, that is a big reason why shorts and longs are getting frustrated by this market, which is why I continue to say high or all cash is the place to be. I will say now, the trading action today was positive. I saw a lot of positive trends out there. Small caps actually held up pretty well. Let's take a look at the Russell 2K chart. Very minimal downside in the Russell today, and the rally was actually led by small cap stocks, meaning these started to bounce a lot sooner than our larger cap counterparts. We were down 13 points or so on the Russell, ended up down slightly on the day. The trading range that we have been trapped within held up pretty decently. So we could be looking at another one of those moves back to the upper end of the channel. So some of those small cap ETFs, if you're so inclined and you've got a little bit of gamble in you, might be worthwhile jumping into, and you can place your stops at 780 would be where I would place my stop levels on that. SPY, S&P 500, we broke below that key level today. 136 was the level we were looking at. We broke below those two previous low levels, but again, they were able to rally the market back and close us above that level. You saw a lot of chatter on the business media tonight about the buy the dip crowd coming in. Let's see if the buy the dip crowd still has their balls tomorrow if we don't get any sort of positive news to bounce us up. As it stands, I would not be surprised, barring any news, to see them try and gap us up tomorrow. Whether it holds remains to be seen. Dow daily chart, you can see we held the mid-April lows at that 12,845 level. Now, what we could potentially see, and what may be why the bears did not level the death blow on the market today, is we had a nice breakdown almost a month ago. You can see it especially on the SMH. We've redrawn the chart since then. But you recall when I mentioned when we had that breakdown, this is where they trapped all the shorts, then they gapped down and rallied us back to the highs. We could potentially see the same thing again. We closed again below support on the SMH. You see it on the Dow as well. So we do have the potential for them to try and snap us back again and just frustrate the shorts again. Would have been better had we closed much lower on the day, but it is what it is. The dip buyers come in, and that's what they wanted to do. And if they look out and we get news tomorrow on a Greece government, you'll know someone got leaked some sort of news somewhere. Someone always knows what's going on. We also saw the same thing on oil. Nice retrace below the 200-day moving average on oil today, but again, they were able to snap it back, and that head and shoulders formation that we have in place here so far has held. I mean, we did have a nice little sell-off since I mentioned that over the last couple of days. We could see a reflex bounce up here, but it seems the obvious level is for this one down in the 80s, but we may see a pop before that. And if they're chasing the oil stocks, they're probably going to end up chasing large caps and the market in general. So where do we stand right now? Well, we're still in a sit on our cash and don't risk a whole lot kind of market as far as I see. You know, you see traders out there on Twitterville posting plays, trading to trade. Not how I like to play, especially in a market like this. I'm fine and dandy sitting back, monitoring the action, building my lists, and making a plan of attack. We saw some nice strength today, got some nice lists of stocks ready, but, you know, the gains out there, I could call stocks all day long. We're not going to be all able to buy them. And the small little gains that are actually out there, there's no way we could get it, and the risk reward is just not there, especially for you new guys. So just be a little bit patient here. Let's see how things play out tomorrow. Facebook plays still extraordinarily weak. We're still waiting for some momentum to come into that, but I'm keeping those Facebook plays high on my watch list. IPO is a week away, so I'm sure we're going to see some momentum come into those stocks. And, you know, this is a market. There are trades out there, but they're few and far between and extremely random. And you really have to put up a lot of capital and chase a lot of big gains to get it. Not a risk reward in our favor kind of market. That may change tomorrow, and, you know, hopefully it does. But until it does, you know, I'm not going to risk a whole lot of capital chasing some really piddly gains when the downside risk far outweighs any sort of reward we'll get, at least right now. As for the market, like I said, going to see what happens. 1350 is going to be our level. Russell did give us some pause for hope today, so let's see how that plays out tomorrow. There actually are some decent plays on the pop scan tonight, so definitely check that out, and let's see how things play out tomorrow. That's it for the video. Any questions, just shoot me an email. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the chat room tomorrow. Good night.